Hello, this is Sam Sheffer, and this is a training session. We are going to talk about SalScent. SalScent is a unique technology. This is the first technology that we designed for do-it-yourself, fragrance encapsulation. This technology can be used in a variety of personal care and household applications to extend the fragrance sensation. Here are a few examples where SalScent can be used. For example, in fine perfumery, we can extend the fragrance longevity from hydroalcoholic solutions. Sticks and different lotions that are water-based, spray that are water-based, fabric softener and laundry detergent, as well as many sprays and liquids used in household and even industrial applications. SalScent, structure and mechanism of operation. SalScent is based on a core made of a polymer and some other ingredients. Then there is another type of polymer that forms the shell. The polymer is water-soluble. The fragrance is incorporated easily into the structure by gentle mixing. The incorporation is based on thermodynamic properties, which means the hydrophobic ingredients of the fragrance will attach to the hydrophobic domains of the polymer. And so the hydrophilic ingredients of the fragrance will attach to the hydrophilic domains of the polymer. The sphere is based on a shell, which is again hydrophilic. Once this is being stabilized, it can be used in the product and it retained its structure. The fragrance will be in equilibrium between the outside of the sphere and the inside. You will be able to smell the fragrance at point of purchase because some of the fragrance ingredients will be outside of the encapsulation. Once the product is being applied on the surface, any type like skin, fabric, paper, and so on, the solvent, which is either water or water and alcohol or anything like that, will evaporate. Once this solvent evaporates, the capsule collapses into a condensed sphere. This is the actual second phase of the encapsulation. Well, the first phase was the entrapment. The second phase is the closing of the sphere and the actual encapsulation. At that point, the shell is the barrier and the phase that controls the release of the fragrance to the atmosphere. As the product is drying out, the release mechanism is based purely on diffusion. Diffusion is a process by which the molecules move from high concentration to the low concentration. And their movement is based through the barrier system. The barrier becomes the major limiting phase. So the thicker the barrier, the slower the release rate. The second phenomenon that can happen later on is exposure to moisture. Once the particles are exposed to moisture, the moisture can penetrate the shell, loose it up, dissolve it, and allow the entrapped fragrance ingredients to release. This is a phenomenon of water-triggered release. SalScent is a very good technology to enhance fragrance release and control in the product. This is a good candidate for two groups of customers. One of them are the contract manufacturers who would like to use less fragrance, save money, and get better results. The second group are different brands, either brands of consumer product that would like to increase the value of the product through the fragrance performance. And of course, the other group is companies that actually manufacture the fragrance itself. SalScent is a clear solution. It's compatible with most cosmetic formulations. It's non-flammable. It's globally accepted, including in China. It has a long shelf life. It is a cost-effective technology because one can make the product in his own place and save on transportation, can decide how much to use and with what fragrance to use. So it gives much more freedom to the manufacturer. And overall, it's a very user-friendly solution. How to form SalScent? The process is based on 3 different steps. In the first step, you have to determine the maximum load of a fragrance in the SalScent to form the complex. Second, to prepare the complex on a higher scale. Number 3 is incorporate the complex within the formula. Step number 1 is to determine the maximum load of a fragrance in a SalScent complex. Every fragrance is different, therefore this process has to be repeated per each one of the fragrances. This step is taking place in your lab. You will need a setup that will allow you to add fragrances into a vessel, watch for separation, and determine the added amount of fragrance either by volume or by weight. We can use any one of the 3 possible sets. Set number 1 is a chemical beaker and a lab mixer. Set number 2 is a glass measure cylinder with a magnet bar mixing. Or set number 3, test tube with a vortex unit. Choose whatever you have in your lab at this point. If you have any problem with this, please watch the video and follow the directions. If this doesn't work for you, you can always contact us and we will try to help you out. What are the steps to incorporate the fragrance into the SalScent? First of all, add SalScent to the container. Let's say the initial amount can be anywhere between 1 to 10 grams. 10 grams would be a better representative for the larger scale. Step number 2, add the fragrance in intervals of 10%. You can actually drop it drop by drop until you see that it is immersing inside the SalScent. Each time, mix well, use the vortex, or leave the mixer to continue to mix it in. Gradually add the fragrance until you see separation. At this time, you determine the maximum loading. The expected loading is about 50%. In some cases, it could be even 90%. In this example, you can see test tubes with fully compatible amount, and when a separation occurs, one can see the 2 phases. You determine the maximum load by adding a little bit less than the maximum measured amount that you added before. Step number 2, prepare the complex on a larger scale. For this purpose, you need to have a vessel with a mixing such as the one that you can see in this slide. First of all, add the SalScent and then start to mix it while adding the fragrance. Okay, for example, if you are making a 100 kilo product and you want to load it with 2% fragrance, you will need to use 2 kilos of fragrance. If the ratio that you found out is 50-50, therefore you need to add 2 kilos of the SalScent. So you need to prepare a 4 kilo complex of the fragrance with the SalScent in advance, mixing it well so it's homogeneous. Then you can add the complex to the finished product at the end at the temperature of 25 C or below it. Room temperature is a good one. The next step is to create a clear solution. It is very desirable to have a clear, complex SalScent with the fragrance. So in order to get a clear compared to the turbid, we use the following process. We add a solubilizer like polysorbate 20 or twin 20 to the complex. Polysorbate 20 is a stable non-ionic surfactant and relatively non-toxic. It used as a detergent and emulsifier in number of commercial and pharmacological applications. The ratio of the solubilizer to SalScent complex may vary. Expect a ratio of 1 SalScent to 5 solubilizer. Polysorbate 20 combined with SalScent could thicken the solution into a gel. Slowly add water to the gel under mixing until you reach the desired clarity. The solubilizer typically would not change characteristic of the odor of the fragrance. Next step is to determine the longevity of the fragrance while in complex of SalScent. We use a sensory method with objective consumers. When SalScent is used from a body splash, we use the spray bottle and evaluate odor intensity on the skin or a paper blotter. We prepare the setup by having at least 2 spray bottles. Number 1 is the control, which typically the free fragrance, and number 2 would be the spray that contains the complex SalScent fragrance. Both should contain the same level of fragrance. In this case, for example, 1%. Spray the same amount on a paper blotter. In this case, we tested the effect of the fragrance to SalScent ratio. We had 2 samples, one with 30% fragrance and 70% SalScent, and the other with 60% fragrance and 30% SalScent. Our panelist group evaluated the intensity of each fragrance over 5 hours and rated the intensity from 1 to 5, with 5 being the strongest odor. The following is a typical result of a panel comparing the intensity of fragrance sensation over time. The intensity of the free fragrance drops down over time. The higher level of SalScent provided the extended release for this specific fragrance. In another experiment, we found similar results. In this case, we compare the free to the SalScent complex, and we see that SalScent is able to provide us a longer lasting intensity of the fragrance. The interesting point in this experiment is that the initial time, both the encapsulated and the free gave the same intensity. There was no difference. The benefit of the technology appears only after time. When the free fragrance depleted, the SalSphere complex is still delivering odor intensity. The technology benefits mostly fragrances that are characterized with a high intense odor as a free form. SalScent would not fit diluted or low intensity kind of fragrances. So if the fragrance is not performing, SalScent cannot fix it. SalScent complex can decrease fragrance volatility and diffusivity. We used a thermogravimetric analysis, what's called TGA. This is a method of thermal analysis in which the mass of a sample is measured over time as the temperature changes. This measurement provides information about the physical phenomena such as evaporation and thermal decomposition. We applied free fragrance and SalScent fragrance complex after it got dry. The graph represents the fragrance loss with time over 40 degrees C. The free fragrance has evaporated pretty fast, about 15 minutes. However, the SalScent complex is stable. It doesn't emit any fragrance. In a separate test, we evaluated the effect of water on fragrance intensity. In this slide, you can see the results of odor intensity from a blotter which is remain dry compared to the same blotter once exposed to moisture. The moisture has increased by 4 times compared to the dry. This is a water-triggered release system. Summary of SalScent. SalScent encapsulation is a cost-effective solution to extend fragrance release. It is used to increase the value of a fragrance and the product. Fragrance is one of the most expensive ingredients in the formula. This technology allows you to get more or maybe use less and save money. Moreover, you can encapsulate the fragrance with SalScent at your facility. you can save on transportation costs to ship the fragrance for encapsulation and back to your pilot plant. It is a compatible solution with large variety of water and hydroalcoholic bases to form clear products. It provides a longer lasting release. It increases the brand recognition and so the value. Fragrance release can be triggered with water, such as deodorancy. Whenever the body perspires, content of water increase, there is a higher burst of fragrance release. It could also be used for hair product and of course household products. It gives you the freedom and flexibility. You do it yourself wherever you work and whenever you need it, and with whatever fragrance you would like to use. SalScent Technology enables you to claim time release 24/7, release on demand, typically water-triggered release. In many cases, the release is triggered by body heat, therefore ideal for deodorant and other body perfumes. This is all about SalScent, our new technology for do-it-yourself encapsulate fragrances for longer lasting release. This technology can be used also for other active ingredients such as essential oils. Feel free to contact us if you have any kind of questions. We will be happy to assist. Thank you very much.